Howdy! Hey everybody! Welcome to week 34. It's time to do our drawing, and we are going to make a quick necklace today to go with our bracelet from the other day, which I left in the other room, so you'll just have to remember what it looked like. Announcements. Well, just as a reminder, I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations, and we are the home of Bead Stash Challenge, and we make a lot of little crystally sparkly kits, little sculptures and or sun catchers that just fun shiny things that'll sparkle in the sunlight, right? So we are, like I said, it's week 34, so we're going to draw our cards to see what we're make today or this week, and then we are going to make that necklace. You still have time to get your kits before next week, or this week, sometime this week. We have our cactus garden kits, which consists of 3 guys. So we have our saguaro cactus, who does stand up. Okay. We have our prickly pear cactus, and we have our little barrel cactus. Now this time of year is when all the barrels are blooming. This is the only color you're finding out in the desert, at least on the cactus. It's barrel cactus blooming season. So to celebrate that, hey Lorraine, we are gonna make him next Sunday. So if you want to get your kit before then, just either comment on this video, send me a message at Desert Cat Creations, and let me know. Hey Janelda, glad you made it too. We're just talking about the fact that next Sunday we're gonna make this little guy. Okay. Now he is designed to sit on the ground, but I will also show you a way if you want to make him into an ornament or a sun catcher as well. So if you want to make him with me and you have him, really what you need is a bunch of 24 gauge head pins. And the 24 gauge will allow you to make the top with as much decorations as I have. If you use 22 gauge, which you can't put that many on the top, which is fine. If you've seen my inspiration video, you'll see that, you know, not all the blooms are out at once necessarily, so it's up to you how many you want to put on there. But if you want to use as many as I used, you do need to have 24 gauge head pins, which I make my own. I do, and they have to be at least 3 inches long. You know, 4 inches would be possibly better, but 3 inches you can probably make it work. So if you have 24 gauge head pins, it'll save you a lot of time. But if not, I'm going to show you how to make 24 gauge head pins. All right. Can you still get one? You can. These guys are only $10, so it's a bargain. As far as my cactus kits go, this is the one that has the more limited supply because my supplier for these green giant crystals, is currently out of them. So I'm hoping to get more in the future. But anyways, we're going to make it next Sunday. So Lorraine, you want me to put you down for a barrel? I know you got your other order, so it should be good to go there. Anyway, so that's going to be our excitement next Sunday. I'm still working to schedule. We are going to make one of the other kits jointly with Kay over at Stars Beads, and I don't know yet when that's going to be. So to make your own head pins, you would need an extra ½ inch of wire. Yeah, so like I said, the finished length with the head needs to be at least 3 inches, okay? And it works well. Because I think I was cutting 3.5 when I made them. So like I said, 3 inches should work. All right, Lorraine, I got you down. That's the excitement for our kits. And like I said, I will be scheduling a make along with Kay on one of those other 2 kits. And I showed some of you guys Thursday, if you joined me. I've also made a sun catcher or ornament version in 2 different sizes of these Swaro kits. At the moment, I'm not putting these up, but I'm going to do a special thing with one of the local businesses here. We are going to make some cactus themed things, but I will offer these. They are going to be, if I offer the 2 together, obviously it's going to be more expensive than this single guy. And quite honestly, you could make your other kit into a sun catcher if you wanted. It's just the bottom beads are obviously different. But like I said, as soon as I figured this out, I will figure out the pricing, because right now my pricing for that kit locally is includes instruction, and I'm having to supply wire because it's not at a bead class. So their pricing is a little bit different. But if people are interested in a ornament sunset or sun catcher version in addition, or instead of just this guy, let me know and I'll figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out how to make a prickly pear sun catcher ornament, and I'm struggling with that a little bit. It just comes out looking funny when it's not, in 3D, when I'm trying to make it sort of flat so it could lean up against the window. So anyways, that's a personal challenge that I have taken on, and I will work on it. All right. Yes, you can start making head pins. So I did make the knotted head pins with this wire. So anyways, that's where we're at for next Sunday. Thursday we'll be on at our regular time. We'll be making whatever we're going to draw the cards for today. So let's see how that works. And then next week, things start getting more complicated. I will be on Sunday. Like I said, we're going to make the cactus and we'll do our drawing. But then I am out of town for 2 weeks. I haven't figured out. I got to figure out what day of the week I get back. So we won't have lives for at least 2 Thursdays in a row and that Sunday in between. After that, we should be back on schedule. So I may just take my projects and post the pictures like I did last year when I was gone, and there just won't be any videos because it's too hard to post a video and film a video while I'm gone, because I'm going on a cruise. so I will not have good connection. Probably, posting a picture on Facebook probably is doable. Posting a video on Facebook beyond the capacity of the Wi-Fi that I will be paying for. So there we are. But I will give you the final things Thursday and next week as to what we're doing. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's flip the camera over and draw our cards for this week. And all right. So, as usual, we're going to draw our cards. If you're new to Bead Stash Challenge, just remember there are currently 5 decks out there. We have deck 1, which is what you need to start with. We also have our color deck, which adds all things color to your drawings. We have the non-jewelry and findings deck, which helps you use your drawing or use your findings and make some things that aren't just jewelry, like a beaded sculpture, right? Okay. And we also have a sun and sea deck, which is all things summery and beachy. And we have our latest deck, which is our Desert Southwest deck. So I have all of mine mixed together. This is what's left minus the 33 we've already used this year, because I did switch them over at the beginning of the year. So yes, we are about to switch over our make cards, but that's why the pile is so low right now, is because we've already shown lots of those. So I'm just gonna mix these up a little and let's see what we're gonna make. We are gonna make a beaded chain. Okay, that's always a time-consuming thing, but I love beaded chains, so it's okay. All right, and our next kind of cards, again, if you're not used to them, is our use cards. So these are what get you to go through your bead stash and use things in your project. So we recently, I think 2 weeks ago, we flipped these over, so this is like all of them. Every deck has use cards. Not every deck has make cards. The color deck does not have any make cards. But all the rest of them have use cards. So, and again, the idea is that you will use lots of stuff. You're doing a beaded bead. All right. Well, you know, we've done a couple of those recently. That is also can be a little time consuming. Our project today, because you know last week we used our beaded beads that I had already made in our project, and we're gonna use some more of those in today's project. All right, enough shuffling. All right, so if you're new and you're not sure, I usually draw 3. You can draw, you know, 1 card. You can draw 5 cards. It's really whatever you feel like you want to use. So we need to make a beaded chain. We need to use a lobster clasp. We need to use turtles in our design. And use a carabiner clasp in our design. I guess we can use 2 clasps in our design. Sometimes I'll put those back, but you know, if it's workable, we'll use them. So what happens now is after I get off, I will go through my stash and find some turtles, which I have lots of turtles from our Sun and Sea deck, so last summer's designs, and I will find a couple clasps. Carabiner clasps are also really good for, I know Candy Cooper uses them a lot to like make charm necklaces and stuff, so those are very popular. All right, so challenge cards are designed to just that. It's to add a theme or add a design challenge to your project. And again, I have cards from all of them, but all right, design something I can wear in the water. So yeah, that's an interesting combination. So realistically, for something I can wear in the water, if I want something that's not going to be harmed by the chemicals that are in a pool or the ocean or something, I would need to use like sterling silver, or I could probably use stainless steel, although it's kind of a pain to work with. But I mean, technically any of my metal stuff can be worn in the water, but if you do it too much, it's going to come apart. Yeah, I think I'll have to pull out my stainless steel wire, but which may mean it's a very short chain because it's a little challenging to work with. But yeah, if you think about things you can wear in the water, so you know, elastic is good if you want something that's kind of cheap and your beads are okay. You know, you don't want to use dyed beads, you don't want to use wood, things like that, but a lot of the gemstones and glass are fine in the water. And like I said, I just wouldn't use like thread or fiber. Anyways, we can talk about that more. So I'm gonna have to give some thought to that, but like I said, I'll probably be using my stainless steel wire. So all right, so that'll be what we're working on this week. So last week we made pull some stuff out here. Speaking of stainless steel, we are going to use some stainless steel chain today. I've also got some 22 gauge wire and some flexible beading wire. I've got my crimps going on here, so you've got a lot of moving parts, but really what I'm making is a fairly simple design. So last week I made the bracelets using variations on these beads, these beaded beads that I made. So I know you can buy, almost dropped it, that's my bead inserts, but these ones, which I think are 10, 10 beads around, fit nicely around a size 6 seed bead. Okay. So you can stuff them in there so that your beads don't collapse. I also made a larger one. I forgot what I was trying to put this on. Now, originally I was going to make it flat and put it on leather. That's what I was going to do. But it actually fits with 6 millimeter. 6 millimeter? Yeah, 6 millimeter beads inside there. And this one is 14 beads around, just for reference, in case you wanted to make something. So you can put 6 millimeter beads in there. Okay, so that's how your design can work. And I like to make little links out of these, but we're not going to today. We are just gonna, what I want to do is just make a necklace where the middle part is, you know, the design, and then we're going to finish it off with some chain on each side. I got this stainless steel, you know, the paperclip chain, but it's a small. I think it's a fun chain to work with. So, of course, our bracelet we made was mixed metals, but it's okay because one of the metals was silver. So we're just going to work with silver today because it's what I decided to do for this necklace. Originally, I was going to make earrings, but then I remembered that I had this big beaded bead. All right, so what I'm going to try is I want to, so I don't know if you recall, I had a design going where I made those other links using these, this turquoise, the lapis, and the green glass beads. So I'm kind of adding those in so they'll match, and then I'm again using these big metal saucers, and we're just putting this on beading wire. But what I'm still going to put those flat the flat discs up next to the side just to keep the stuff from falling out of the middle, as well as you know, just protect those beads. So I'm going to put those on both sides, and then I was, like I said, this could be a quick project, which is good since I got on here lovely. Oh, wait, that's not what I was. So, hey, Veronica. So those of you that don't know, Marianica is my neighbor, and she and her husband are also going on our trip with us next week. So we're looking forward to that. I'm sure we'll have all sorts of stories to tell for weeks and months. So what do you guys think? You like that design? Look, I'm actually on the screen today. Somewhere I have some really bright green beads, which I think are Gaspiite. I bought years ago, but I need to find them because they would have actually worked well with our design here. When you're doing this, be careful that you don't knock your beads out. Now, when I stuff the thing with beads, what I do, just so you know, is I take a piece of kind of stiff wire. So I have this piece of 18 gauge wire that sits around on my desk for some reason, but what I'll do is I'll put one of the beads, the seed beads, on here, and then I push the beaded bead on there, and then I just continue to push 6 inches in size 6 beads into those beads, or the 6 millimeters in case of the larger bead, until it's full. So I think I have 4 beads in these smaller ones. I think I only have 3 because they're rounds instead of rondelles in this big bead. All right. So this is what I was thinking of making the middle of my necklace. I am making a necklace, so which will go with my bracelet that I made on Thursday. But I'm thinking it'll just be this much beads, and then I was going to put chain to finish it off on both ends. Just something simple and sweet, because there's enough color in there. I don't feel like I need to put a whole bunch more in there. So I have some extra beads out here because I'm going to put those on the end of the chain. But the first thing I'm going to do is hook this end onto the chain. You'll see I already slid my crimp on there. Yeah, those are great colors, aren't they? I think I need to find more of those bright green seed beads. I have a ton of, I know you guys will find this difficult to believe, but I probably have every turquoise color of seed of delicates. You know. So I'm keeping this this loop small because I really don't want it to show that much. And I am using the magic crimper, so it's ravioli time. just slowly shaping our bead there. And now we've got our nice bead there. Oh, hi, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Where are you coming in from? Oh, I thought it would fit through my lapis. Apparently it's only going to fit through my turquoise, so I had more tail in there than I needed. Oh well. All right. So I'm going to cut close to, actually I may cut it a little closer. All right. Tuck that in there. Oh, you're from Oregon. What part of Oregon? I love my grandparents used to live in Eugene. All right, before I worry about the other side, what I need to do is cut this chain. All right. So I'm thinking more of like a choker, but for me, I like probably an 18-inch, so I need so I am going to cut this at 8.5, and that's because I'm going to add the clasp, and I'm going to use some wire wrapping to add that clasp on. So, oh, okay. Well, welcome. All right, now this is stainless steel, so I am using my memory wire cutters, not my regular clippers, even though my regular ones are cheap. But all right, I'm going to not attach anything to the end at the moment. We are gonna do the other side. So I'm gonna give myself some room to work, even though I don't need a big tail on here, but you're going to put that on there, and then, like I said, I know it goes through my turquoise beads, so are you having fires? Oh, I guess you are probably having fires. I saw on somebody else's page about some fires near like Bend or something. All right, I'm trying to get this close so I don't end up with too much space in there. See if we can get it about the same size as the one on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull with my pliers here. All right. I want it to move a little bit, but so this is sort of, you know, like those I think those bar necklaces, although this would be a big bar, are very popular still. And go back to our ravioli here. a big one due east of me that's still not on. Oh, okay. Well, I hope they get it out. We're having lots of fire. Well, we've still got the fire burning near the Grand Canyon here. It's been burning since at least the beginning of the month. I think it's been burning since July. Fortunately, the smoke doesn't come this way. All right, I'm gonna have to. There we go. Didn't want to look like a good. There we go. I may have to work on that some more afterwards. I'm going to trim this off. And there we've got our attachment here. So maybe I can get a better angle on this crimp. It's not being cooperative. All right. Okay, so what I'm thinking I want to do, so like I said, I want my necklace to be about 18 inches. Sorry, I'm trying to read comments. Oh, yeah, it's been really dry here too, but we actually got rain twice last week. That was exciting. And let me see, I want to do 18 inches, but I like to add a little extra. I don't know why I'm measuring that way. So I like to add a little extra so I have a dangle and you know, and a little adjustment in case I made it too short. So I think 18, I'm going to go out to 10 inches here. And again, we're going to use our memory wire cutters so we don't ruin anything, because this is stainless. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, so I don't, so I have a short side and a longer side here. So on the short side, I'm going to attach my clasp. Now, I could just attach it with some jump rings, but I want to make it a little more colorful, because, why make things simple for myself? So I'm just going to make a little link to attach it to the chain. Well, I hope it clears out quickly for you, Karen, because that makes it kind of miserable with all that smoke and ash in the air. All right, so I am attaching this onto my shorter side. Need those. Don't need that. I want this, so I'm just making a wrap loop to hook on my on my clasp. And like I said, you know, you could just use a jump ring, which, you know, I don't know, normally I would, but like I said, I just wanted to add a little color, and it's a little more secure this way. Although I hate this, this wire is so soft, it's hard to make. There we go. Now I got it. All right, so this other side is going to hook to the chain. So let's make it small. Small loop. We don't need anything very big. I just need enough end. All right, let's make sure I get the right one. All right, here's the shorter side. So I'm just hooking that onto the end of the chain. And we're going to just use our fingers to wrap. Oh yeah, hole-in-the-wall beads was where I first heard about the fire. She talked about it being a little too close for comfort. Oh yeah, it would make a great charm bracelet. All right, so we made a little link just to hook our lobster clasp onto. And then we're gonna add a little color, you know, like sometimes it's just nice to add a little dangle on the end of a chain, just so it looks a little more finished, right? And like I said, I added an extra inch of chain just so it can be a little adjustable on length. You know, since we're using open chain, it also means we can make it shorter if we need to. So I'm just using a head pin here. Not one that I'm making. So, and I'm going to make a tiny loop here. And we're going to hook it to the end of this chain. And we'll just hold on to that and wrap that as well as we can. I'm going to use my pliers to pull it tighter to start with. And I'm just going to trim that. And we'll tuck let's get this. You know me, I always have my tools everywhere. So there we go. All right, so here we go. We've got our necklace. Now, I do realize since I used flexible beading wire, these things will twist around, but you know, that's okay. The beads are pretty on all the sides. If I had made links that kind of locked them into place, then it would also lock them in a certain direction, you know, if I used the tight link. So something to remember. But then I just added a little color on the end here so I could securely put my lobster on there, which we will be using a lobster this week. And then you have your little pretty dangle that's hanging down, right? So that was our quick necklace project because I'd already made the beaded beads. So. Oh, thank you, Janelda. Yeah, and Karen, if you're interested in working with, you know, the Bead Stash Challenge and you haven't bought your cards, you're welcome to use ours and join our Bead Stash Challengers group. You should see the link on our video here. If you post during the month, you get in on our random drawing at the end of the month. Hasn't been too random lately because we've only had a couple of entries. But you can use whoever's cards you want to make a project if you don't have them, or if you're interested in purchasing the cards, let me know. I have plenty. So the deck one is $15, which is where you start. So anyways, all right, here's the necklace. So let me take off my current necklace so I can put this one on, and we'll see what it looks like on. All right, we'll flip you around. All right, so right now I have it hooked, and I probably have, just for reference, I've got a good 2 inches of chain back here, but so certainly could make it longer, but there we go. Fun colors, huh? Oh, well, thank you, Karen. You're welcome to, like I said, you're welcome to play along, or if you're interested in the cards, they're available. If you buy 2 things from me, you get $2 off. If you buy 3 things, you get $5 off. There's no additional discounts after that, but you can buy any combination of cards, kits, or bead mixes, and I'm even allowing that to include my latest crystal mix, which, like I said, I have it at a bargain price just because I made it the same price as my other bead mixes. So if you go into the Desert Cat Creations page, or our Bead Stash Challengers group, you should be able to find pictures of everything. But I have a website also that's linked to my about info in my page that has all the products. But if you want to order from the website, give me a heads up, because I don't have the I need to get it done, but I've been doing other stuff trying to get kits out to people, so I haven't put the bundle discount coupon in there yet. So, but like I said, if you want to order, we can work that out. We'll figure it out. So anyways, all right, thanks for joining me. I'm liking like that little necklace. I love to make these beaded beads, but they are kind of slow. So what I do is when I make a whole bunch of them. So I had to make one more because I was going to make earrings, but I ended up deciding to make a necklace. So I might still have to make earrings if I really want to go all out and have a matching set, right? All right, so just a reminder, so Thursday we'll be back at noon. We will be making a beaded chain, and it's probably going to be either a necklace or a bracelet because we're also using a lobster clasp. We are using turtles. We are using a carabiner clasp, and we're going to design it so we can wear it in the water, which really means we're going to think about our components a little. Okay. And like I said, we will be making next Sunday, we'll be making this little cactus guy, this little blooming barrel cactus. He is available for $10, the kit, and we will make him live next Sunday. So if you want to participate in that, get started on making your head pins. So you need like 3 to 3.5 inch finished length head pins in 24 gauge. That'll make your life easiest. If you only have 22 gauge, you could, I mean, if you had 26 gauge, that would probably be fine too. I just don't like to work with 26 gauge except for like wrapping other wire, but the 24, it will help you out if you make that ahead of time. If you're trying to make the full thing, you need 17, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you need 17. So if you're making them ahead of time, here you go. All right, thanks again for joining me. As always, I appreciate your support. If you ever have any questions, just message me at Desert Cat Creations. I will get back to you as quickly as I can, which, unless you do it in the middle of the night, usually happens within a couple of hours. If you haven't already, please like and follow me on Desert Cat Creations Facebook page, Instagram page, and subscribe to us on my YouTube channel, because after 30 days, all the videos are only available on YouTube. They are not available on Facebook anymore. Lorraine, you don't know how to make a headband. Okay. I do have a video that's a good demonstration of one. I can send you a link to that. It's on YouTube. Sorry. I make the knotted head pins, so you want me to make one real quick? I can do that. Let's do that, and then we'll cut off. So let me grab my 24 gauge wire, because I might as well make one. All right, let's make a knotted head pin real quick, if you got a moment. All right, I'm gonna zoom in just so you can see it. So let's, so for this project, I am going to cut 3.5 inches of wire, and I will say these are easier to make with 24 gauge than others, because it took me a while. So I am just going to take one end, and I am going to, yeah, it's Sarah's video. I think I found that I can, I'll try to post that. But I am just making, you know, one of my rolled loops. You guys have seen those enough in my creature that I make, right? So we've got a rolled loop here. I went 2 full times around. I don't know if you could see that. Let's see. It takes it a minute to show up on my other screen, so I can't always tell. But do 2 full times around, And then you're going to bend it up so it goes across the loops that you just made. What is that? It's like, all right. And then you're going to take the end and stick it through the loops. Right? And actually, you know, if you just want to do those 2 loops, that's fine too. But here we pulled the loop, the wire through that loop, and it helps to have rubber pliers. If you don't, you can use regular ones. It's just, it's a little harder. But so I've pulled the loop through, and now I have the straight end through here. And now I'm just going to continue to pull. You want the pliers up against the where the knot will be. And oh, it's not bad. If you pull it a little more, you get, if you pull it really tight, you get this kind of pretty knot here. Actually, maybe you'll be able to see it better. So that's what it ends up looking like. After you come on, I moved it. There we go. So you see it's a nice little knot there. And now you have a head pin. Now, mine always end up a little kinked because I'm working with this fine wire, so then I will use my wires to straighten it out. But that's how you make a knotted head pin. And so remember I started with 3.5 inches of wire. So really that only took like an 1/8 of an inch off of there. So I could have probably gone a little less, but you want, yeah, that's why I said 3 inches would probably work. This one's going to be a little longer than you need. So, and like I said, so 17 of those, and it just looks a little fancy, but you could just, if you get frustrated, don't want to do it, you could just do a couple of loops and like just turn it sideways, and that works. All right. So now you'll be all ready. Yeah, maybe 3 1/4. Like I said, worst case, you have to trim it, but if you want to save a little bit on wire, you should be good. Now, you know, as you move in from the outside, you know, it takes a little less wire. It's going to stick out a little further, but anyways. So, yeah, if you want to make those to get them ready, like I said, you need 17 of them. And like I said, the knotted ones, just, they look a little prettier, but it's not essential. But like I said, if you had pre-made ones that had a, you know, the round on the end, the flat would work too, but the round would be really pretty. So anyways, there you go. So you can make those head pins and be ready for next Sunday, because like I said, there's not a lot of moving parts to this guy, so you can probably follow along if you've got your head pins made. And we'll make some more head pins. I won't make them all ahead of time, but I'm going to make quite a few of them ahead of time so that it doesn't get too redundant. But yes, ball pins. Janelle's here is good, because when I'm talking sometimes my brain forgets what I want to say. But anyways, all right. Looking forward to sharing that with you. Hope you guys have a chance to be creative this week. I will be posting my cards tomorrow. like I said, if anybody needs any cards, needs any kits or bead mixes, I will get them in the mail. Nothing's going to be mailed out after Friday because, you know, following Monday is a holiday, even though I will still be in town. So I can't mail that day. So Friday's the last chance for me to put things in the mail until middle of September, okay? But, you know, if anybody places an order, that's fine. You just realize it's not going to get mailed until I get back. So, anyways, looking forward to getting started with these guys with you. And I will catch you on Thursday. Thanks again. Bye.